So hello and welcome to today's EastWest Advisers Adapting to Succeed program Thought Leadership webinar. My name is Tim Odokeychuk, and on behalf of EWA, our advisory group and partners, we're very glad to have you here to discuss how embracing advanced technology can help your organization to succeed. With our special guests, Dirco Polymers and KPMG Business Excellence. Welcome to those who are joining us for their first Adapting to Succeed Thought Leadership webinar. We're pleased to have you here, as we are all of our participants with us today. EastWest Advisers is a collection of thought leaders and business partners striving to answer the hard questions important to the Australia-Asia relationship and to provide solutions to facilitate more informed trade and investment while upholding the objectives of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Our Adapting to Succeed program is designed to help business leaders answer the hard questions they're facing now and into the future. Across your value chain, we have sector expertise ready to help you ride the winds of change, transform your organization to operate in the new normal while upholding global values. So, we're here to talk today about technology and how it applies to your business. But what do we mean by advanced technology? By definition, it could be a technology that's emerging, but maybe promises to deliver significant value in the future, or perhaps it has some maturity, but has relative few users. So some examples of this might be artificial intelligence, might be AR or VR, might be smart robotics, or even advanced materials in additive manufacturing. Could be human interface recognition like speech or touch. It could be also gaining real-time data insights while collaborating, as we all know, remotely more and more these days. So, what does that mean and why does that deserve our attention? So, whatever perspective you come from, technology will play a role in the way you operate, the rules you have to play by, or how you answer ethical questions along your journey to succeed. Those perspectives might be political, they might be economic, legal, environmental, they might be around social or behaviors and the way that we evolve as society. Of course, technology can also disrupt technology, as a lot of us have seen in many of the sectors that we work in. So we're here today to discuss how embracing technology, advanced technology, helps us to succeed. Today's agenda will take place on that conversation so that your organization can grow and transform sustainably. Today's agenda will cover Dirco Polymers and the application of their technology to build world-class plastic manufacturing centers of excellence. We'll discuss technology trends and how that's being applied across various sectors and what is emerging now and into the future. We'll talk about the role of business excellence in the quality function that's required to help you implement, select, and also ensure that that technology is a wise investment. We'll also talk about the practical do's and don'ts about selecting the right technology for that opportunity or that problem that you have in the business that you're looking to solve. And of course, we're going to have an interactive audience Q&A. So at this time, to get the best experience out of today's session, we recommend that you use Gallery View in Zoom. We also welcome you to place your questions into the Q&A button. And we have enabled the ability, using technology, of course, to upvote the questions that you would like asked first. So the EWA team is monitoring that Q&A session now. So a reminder that we are pleased to be recording today's session, which will be available from EastWest Advisers in the next few days. So to introduce our panelists, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Mr. Pankaj Gupta. Mr. Gupta is a senior leader with Dirco Polymers Private Limited, based in Manesar, Haryana, India. With over 27 years of sector experience, he is leading Dirco into its future as a leading provider of polymer master batches and compounds and solutions, and is an active contributor to India's and the world's circular economy. He does this by driving business excellence in that sector through his Lean Six Sigma process improvement and various innovations that he's leading through the Dirco team. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Gupta.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tim.
Very good. Now, I'm very pleased that Dirco has provided us a video that we'd like to share with you so that you get an understanding of how they address the market.
The world is changing fast at a pace like never before. This dynamism is transforming products to fulfill people's aspirations and needs. This change is creating new opportunities, and these opportunities also carry new challenges and new goals. We at Dirco are head-on with these challenges to provide unique and innovative solutions for the plastic industry. We produce master batches and specialty additive master batches that offer pioneering solutions for the progressing world of polymers.
2002 में पहली बार ELV ROHS प्रोडक्ट की मेरे कस्टमर ने डिमांड की और फाइनली 2006 से हम डर्को में ROHS प्रोडक्ट ही बना रहे हैं। पूरी तीनों फैक्ट्रियां टोटल ROHS ELV कंप्लाइंट पेटी बना रही हैं।
With an experience of more than 2 decades, Dirco works with a vision to create out-of-the-box ideas by challenging current limits of technology and offering the most advanced products. Producing over 10,000 hues of master batches, we have multiple dedicated lines for black, white and color master batches in our 3 separate manufacturing facilities in Haryana, India, which have a capacity to produce over 10,000 metric ton of master batches and compounds per year. Apart from color master batches, we have an exhaustive range of additive master batches for various applications. Over the years, this has inspirited us to develop uncompromising, stringent quality systems and processes. Our quality control lab is fully armed with the latest state-of-the-art equipment. Customization has always been Dirco's highlighting strength.
There were no customized products. There used to be standard product. If people want to have different things in the market, they won't get it. There were few products, you have to either buy them or leave it. So Dirco was conceived and we started this project in 1995 and customization was our key.
We have always worked hand in hand with our customers to provide them fast-paced integrated solutions for improving polymer attributes.
We have very good experience with Dirco Polymer in terms of quality, cost, delivery and service.
Out of this collaboration, many challenging product ideas have turned into reality. Dirco's quality commitment is edified by several national and international certifications like ISO 9001, 14001 and UL. Ensuring compliance to today's trend-setting requirements of technology, safety and environment, Dirco has partnered with the best raw material suppliers of the world to ensure consistent and accurate quality input that will help us produce a zero-defect, flawless product in every single batch.
Their turnaround time is excellent, and some of the time they went extra mile to fulfill our requirements in terms of meeting our end customer requirements.
No wonder today, Dirco is one of the most preferred vendor to various Indian and multinational OEMs in the automotive, electronics, electrical, film and pipe industry.
We have had exponential growth in the last 4 to 5 years, and continuing with the same, we hope that in the next 5 years we will double our production capacity.
We have always believed to lead from the front, one needs technical competence and a vision to excel. Our quest to find extraordinary products for the future has persistently inspired us to work relentlessly with commitment and integrity to deliver world-class master batches with consistency and reliability. That's why we say Dirco is not just master batches. It's more than master batches.
Pankajji, what an inspiring video, and thank you so much for sharing that. And we very much look forward to talking about your customer-focused vision and your commitment to quality and how that's sustainably assisted you in your growth path, and maybe a bit more about your plans for the future as we talk about how you're leveraging technology today.
Thanks, Tim.
Excellent.
Really looking forward.
Great to have you. Next, I have the pleasure of welcoming Mr. Shankaran Venkata Ramani, Executive Director of Management Consulting with KPMG's Business Excellence Practice. Having joined KPMG in 2002, Shankaran is responsible for global delivery of the Business Excellence Practice, where he works closely with his clients to provide a myriad of services to diagnose opportunities for improvement and develop organizational maturity. That 25 years process improvement and organizational development capability is based on his BE in Industrial and Production Engineering and his postgraduate diploma in Human Resource and Personnel Management. Shankaran has published several thought leadership articles, and EastWest Advisers is very pleased to welcome Shankaranji today to our webinar. Welcome, Shankaran.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much. Pleasure being here. Thank you.
Excellent. And finally, and not least, of course, I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Uttam Biswas, Associate Director of Management Consulting, Business Excellence at KPMG. Uttam has had an impressive background everywhere where technology meets process to overcome whatever challenges are ahead. From process improvement to automation to leveraging machine learning and artificial intelligence, Uttam is a focused problem solver working in a range of sectors like manufacturing, healthcare, digital services, finance and accounting, and many more. His 20 years of experience in business transformation is based on the predictive as well as preventive methods. He has an MBA in marketing and operations based on a BE in civil engineering. He's a certified Lean Six Sigma Black Belt and ISO internal auditor. And Uttamji, it's a pleasure to have you with us today. I look forward to hearing from you today.
Thank you very much, team. Thanks for inviting me. Really pleasure to be a part of the forum. Thank you very much. Looking forward.
It's our pleasure indeed. And of course, a big welcome to our attendees today. We look forward to engaging with you in just a moment. KPMG have also offered a brief introduction to their operations.
KPMG is a network of global member firms in 153 countries. Over 2 lakh people across the globe work with KPMG to make our clients' ambitions a reality. Our clients look up to us to help them mitigate risks and grasp opportunities. At KPMG India, more than 12,000 people work every day to solve complex business issues of our clients, transforming passion into higher purpose. We work with the government on key projects to take on the task of nation building. At KPMG, we make dreams come true of our clients, our people, and our own.
A great introduction. Thank you, Shankaran and Uttam. So it's time to get involved. So what we'd like to know from our audience today is, where do you see your organization is at in its journey to adopt advanced technology? If I start the poll, the questions and the answers here, the answers include, I may be reacting, or our business model might have been seriously hampered by those or others that are further in their journey. Organization might be aware. We may be looking to understand or already trying to understand how advanced technologies can benefit us and our value chain beyond traditional methods. We might be operational and have a stable organization that applies some advanced technology, but with mixed results. we might be already leveraging that advanced technology, and we maybe make considerable efforts to identify, test, and implement select technologies with some success. Or we might be at world-class levels where we integrate that technology seamlessly into our organization and our strategy, and we're focused on emerging trends to gain competitive advantage. So please take a moment to think about that and tell us where you are so that we can discuss potentially more relevant answers to your questions today. I'll give us another 15 seconds to answer this. Great, thank you for those that have responded. Now it seems that we're more aware and we're more operationally stable when we're looking to leverage this technology. So I think we have the right audience here today to help gain some new knowledge and to hear from Dirco and KPMG about how they might be able to adapt to succeed leveraging advanced technology. So I'll stop sharing. And everyone now should be able to see our lovely panel. And it's good to see you again, Shankaran, Uttam, and Pankaj. And thank you so much for joining us today. I'm looking forward to a great conversation.
Thank you, Tim. Same here.
Excellent. So my first question is to Pankaj. So Pankaj, congratulations on your continued success at Dirco Polymers. Now, given the fact that this is an Adapting to Succeed series, can you tell us a little bit about the challenges that the Dirco team faced in the last 12 months, given the global pandemic, and maybe perhaps as to how, your foundations and evolution over the last, few decades has put you in a good position to respond to those challenges, leveraging your advanced technologies, your process improvement methodologies, and your commitment to quality and customer satisfaction?
Thanks, Tim, for inviting Dirco on this discussion. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all. It's a great pleasure and a good privilege to be here today with all of you. And I am little overwhelming also. Just as Tim asked, the challenges we faced in last 12 months, in fact, the challenges were faced by each and every company globally. But Dirco, as Dirco was conceived in 1996, and since then we have a valuable data with us. So we were using those data to convert it an opportunity in the pandemic period. Our main focus was to ensure the adequate use of our production capacity and to pursue the strategy to meet the customer demands, keeping the productivity and interest of each intact.
That's excellent, Pankaj, to hear. And of course, I mean, the supply chain as well as your customers will have been trying to respond. And ultimately, as we go through today's discussion, it would be great to understand, in terms of, not just the challenges, but also the opportunities that we've leveraged along the way. So we'll maybe dive a bit deeper and see what the audience wants to know as well. So thank you very much for that answer. Excellent. So over to Shankaran and Uttam. So of course, it's a pleasure to have you here. And I'm just wondering, can you share some emerging technology trends that you've been seeing being leveraged, in industry with your clients, and obviously with their goals to achieve better efficiency, improve use of human capital, or achieve, I guess, their strategic objectives on ensuring that, they're not severely impacted by the pandemic, but they also look forward to that sustainable growth we've talked about before.
Sure, Tim. First of all, Tim, thank you so much for giving KPMG this wonderful opportunity and also setting the context so very well for this panel conversation. Greetings to all the attendees, and I hope all the attendees are keeping good health during these difficult times, wherever they are from. And thanks to all the attendees for sparing their valuable time to be part of this conversation. So Tim, of course, yes, this is a very, very exciting time for the adoption of technology. Okay, and we would never thank the pandemic because it has taken so many lives. But pandemic, I think the world and some of our clients have not allowed the crisis to go into waste. Some of the technology adoption during these difficult times has only got accelerated. Okay. Now, some of these trends that we see with working with different types of clients, combination of manufacturing, IT-based organizations, service-oriented organizations, I think the top-notch term that comes is hyper-automation. I think this is a relatively a new term that appeared first in October 2019 in Gartner report, which talked about digital process automation or intelligent process automation. So very clearly, in its simplest terms, refers to set of digital technologies that can transform the organization, combining and embracing three important aspects of it. One is artificial intelligence, machine learning, and robotic process automation coupled with advanced analytics. So very clearly, hyper automation is the direction industries are very clearly moving towards. And in these current times, it is only fostering the operation efficiency and focus on adoption. Second important trend that we could see is 5G will go mainstream. Very clearly, low latency or intelligent power consumption, high device density, network slicing. We would find in the community, and we are also, while interacting with a variety of clients, very clearly what's coming out is 5G is going to make a breakthrough. And this is going to be an opportunity for the channel. So 5G will make augmented reality, smart cities, and connected cars truly possible. So that's the direction the world is clearly moving towards. Obviously, as part of Industry 4.0, people kept on talking about Internet of Things, IIoT, Industrial Internet of Things, bringing together information from series of connected devices. I think that has also spread a long way. Today, we could see many platforms, devices, data sets have a huge potential to provide sufficient insights, efficiencies, and build new business opportunities. So we could see Internet of Things applications going far, far ahead in different types of organizations. Followed with is serverless computing. Okay, time has come with the volumes of data that we deal with, whether it is Facebook or Twitter, so many accounts coming in. In no time, we will have to disseminate the change instantaneously. So obviously, developers in the technical angle are looking forward to quickly and cost effectively deploy applications. So in real time, serverless computing is going to enable the organization to build applications that would scale in real time. So undoubtedly, that's another area where most of our clients are getting very, very excited too. Obviously, biometric system, in the current times, very, very apt technology to look for. And it plays a very important role in improving security by allowing people and devices to authenticate and move seamlessly through our high-tech world. In fact, one of our clients has also started embracing on touchless automation. To an extent, try and bring in as much as possible touchless interventions and giving a wonderful user experience. Second, the next aspect is augmented reality and virtual reality. We all have been talking about this, and it is becoming more and more household names and also application. We could see that where the standard operating procedures, the instructions are available through wearable devices, and people and the practitioners and the workers need not carry them physically. Through smart glasses, they can reach out to any guidelines and take information at any point in time. We have been hearing blockchain clearly solving a growing need to secure and manage transactions across the internet. Blockchain is a very, very prevalent technology at this point in time people use. As part of AI, in the field of AI, NLP, so natural language processing, I think that is going to enable computers to analyze and understand human language. We could see that speech to text conversion or text to speech conversion to operation, computer operation to audible responses. This is another area where several of our organizations are getting excited with. we can't live away with quantum computing. Look at that ninth trend of technology with engine that will drive our ability to process and analyze big data and will be the key to leveraging machine learning and the power of AI. So that's going to be another important aspect. And for services sectors in particular, people are very excited with IoB. As we talked about IoT, there's also Internet of Behaviors. IoB is an upcoming trend. We will be hearing this a lot more in 2021 onwards. Companies and businesses are completely taking advantage of this technology to monitor consumer and customer behavior. Interestingly, some of the companies are using Internet of Behavior to even monitor employees on the campus during this COVID pandemic crisis situations as to how are they hale and healthy and what are their behavior, study their behavior and try to take proactive actions. While we are in the pandemic crisis, everything happening through remote work from anywhere is a concept, and obviously we can't ignore cyber security. So the next technology is cyber security mesh. You can access the digital security asset no matter where the location is. So it's not about creating an installation only about the enterprise, because individuals are working from different locations. You have to create the installation for the individual. So cyber security mesh is also around creating a security wall around individuals instead of just limiting to the entire organization. So these are some of the trends that we could see, Tim, at this point in time. Of course, we will continue our conversation as we move along, but many technologies. And whenever we talk about technology, always keeps us on the toes. A lot of excitement around it. Obviously, it will help in terms of the organizational transformation towards growth, operation efficiency, keep the cost of delivery and operations minimal. There are a lot of contributions that can come through, but as we rightly pick the technology, and it should not be technology should be brought in because we needed it. There has to be a sense of purpose. What are we trying to solve, and in what context it has to be used? I think from that standpoint, there are significant, exciting trends happening in and around, and we have to be very watchful of adapting those technologies. Back to you, Tim.
Shankar, an amazing list, and thank you so much for sharing what an exciting grouping of technologies that could be leveraged. And as you were speaking, I could very much see those technologies meshing together. And as you plainly put, it's how we create a system that allows our employees, our supply chains, our customers to interact with those technologies to provide them the value that they're looking for. So ultimately, a system can either create a lot of waste or can remove that waste for us. So, and very good that you mentioned that, no point of applying or adopting technology for technology's sake. We have to be leveraging an opportunity, or at least solving a problem in our organization, and it has to have a business case and payback around that. So very good. And I think, following this session, we might follow up with those, that list of trends so that everyone can maybe catch up to what's going on. So thank you for sharing that. But maybe back to Pankaj now. Pankaj, that point around not adopting technology for technology's sake is important in the fact that there has to be a clear goal to justify the investment. So Pankaj, can you share how adopting Industry 4.0 principles and the advanced technology, like we saw in the video and the presentation from Dirco, has been so important for you and your partners across your value chain, over the years?
Very well said by Mr. Shankaran, and he has explained very well about the new technology adopting. At Dirco and all the manufacturing sectors, they have a lot valuable data with them, which they can use to bring a value-added product to their site. As in, data mining is opening up the new opportunities to the existing data to gain additional insights that maybe they are missing because of not using the technology. And with this, adopting the new technologies, they can forecast the trends based on their historical data. So at Dirco, we have used the new technology by data mining, where we found many valuable data, and we have taken forward these things. So technology, we have to see where the improvement is required, and to bring technology which is relevant to that improvement. That will help. Now, as Mr. Sankan explained, a lot many new technologies are available and many expertise is also available in the market. So we have adopted IoT 4 in our production areas and supply chain, where we have managed to come out of this pandemic. As this pandemic has taught us how to use the right technology to get the best out of it.
Pankaj, some very key points that you've made there. And of course, you know, as the disruption that we've all faced over the last year due to the pandemic, you know, has affected, you know, shipping supply chains, as well as, you know, the availability of materials based on perhaps over ordering or the mismanagement of working capital. You know, the key in that data to find, you know, where your forecasting, your projections can be in terms of leveraging, you know, that with your existing suppliers to make sure that you get what you need in turn to be able to supply your customers or convert that into your products would have been critical, I imagine. So I can see how data has been, let's say, the gold in what you've done there. So great to hear that that's the case. Uttam, Shankaran, you know, so we want to talk about the role of, you know, business excellence for the quality professional. So we know that that can be a challenging role in itself and is really often misunderstood in organizations, right? What are you here to do to me? But ultimately, you know, with the rapid evolution of technology and the lists that are difficult to to keep up with themselves, right? The lines are becoming blurred on really who owns or needs to be involved in the selection or the planning for or the implementation of new technology. And of course, you know, across the organization, that's going to take significant talent acquisition, talent management, and ensuring that, you know, we have the right skills to do the job and execute and maintain that over time. You know, I'd like to hear from you how that role is changing and its importance you see into the future.
Thank you very much, team. Quite a insightful and provoking question. And coming from a background of experience into quality business excellence for more than 20 years, I would like to respond by saying that, first of all, I want to break the myth of quality as a function is solely responsible for driving quality across the organization. That has been going on around for ages, and that is the reason there are a lot of shortfalls, there are a lot of loopholes in terms of the target we have seen that we have not been able to achieve there. With the rapid advancement in technology, where, I mean, most of these emerging technologies like AI, ML are significantly taking place and doing transformations across the industry and into quality function also, the lines are seriously getting blurred. It's no more that quality function is alone responsible for driving quality across the organization. Every function needs to own quality and be accountable for managing quality for their function. Be it marketing, sales and marketing, be it finance, be it operations, be it human resource, or any other enabling function that work across harmoniously in the organization. I need to be accountable for driving quality in my area, in my business process. And with the advanced technologies that are there in place, we will need to learn how this can be enablers. But first and foremost, which is required is, other than this technologies being enabled, we will need to be receptive, we will need to be adaptive to the changes. We need to know about the pros and cons, where all these changes can happen, where all these technologies can be able to drive in the right amount of tangible benefits. With the advancement in quality 4.0 and industry 4.0, you know, there are interesting roles that are coming up. And those are really exciting roles. I would say the future of quality, the future of industry will be really exciting to look for. So till date, where we have seen that with the traditional practices, the quality assurance people, quality assurance leader have been driving this mostly across the organization. We have new roles which are coming up, like that of a quality assurance captain, quality assurance scientist, or be it a transformation chaspa who is going to drive the entire technology enablers across the organization. while human beings can become supervisors to these machines or the bots, which we have seen as example with many organizations adopting quality 4.0, and it can be vice versa also. In some of the cases, the machines can also become supervisors to human beings. With those, the quality people, they assume more cognitive roles. They take up the roles of more decision thinking, how the strategies of quality 4.0 can be implemented in my organization, while I leave it to the machine to drive my day-to-day transactional activities, which my quality assurance team have been doing for long. So yes, I see that the selection, rightful selection, implementation, adequate use of technology, which should be rightly implemented to get the right benefit, is a key imperative in the organization to succeed and use these technologies for a long-term benefit. Over to you, Tim.
I think Uttam, just want to add, Uttam very well summarized. In terms of grasping the whole thing of business excellence role and quality function role for the organization, I think the function must realize now the companies and enterprise eventually will move towards a total experience. The strategy is going to be a total experience, not just limited to customer experience or user experience or employee experience. It's total experience, as we say, total quality management. So easiest way to remember the key elements what Uttam talked about in terms of the changing role of business excellence and quality function is adorable. And I often used to say this for quick recall. Adore is a word I would say that the likely trend is going to be. And what does this word stands for? A stands for realize this change taking place. A is automation and artificial intelligence. So we need to have the skills that's necessary to enable our organization to adapt right automation and use AI and ML in the right places. D stands for disruption and digital transformation. Be part of this, and we cannot ignore on these disruptive technologies being coming in digital transformation world they're getting into. In the word adore, O stands for look for opportunities for improvement all the time. Opportunities to excel is plenty. We have to keep looking out and grab the opportunity to impact reduced operational efficiencies. In the word adore, I'll go to the last but one R. The letter R stands for relentless focus and repeatable best practices. So organizations are growing. There are best practices in pockets. And this function, business excellence function's responsibility is to pick those best practices and broad base it, spread it across the organization instantaneously, leveraging technology, not taking too much of time so that excellence can be seen at the organization level. And last letter E stands for exemplary practices leading towards excellence. I think if we recognize these 5 ingredients in adore, then I think eventually this function will become adorable in terms of its contribution and value to the organization. Back to you, Tim.
No, Uttam, Shankar, thank you for those amazing insights. Now, Uttam, you said something very, very critical. Quality, when it's given as a title, tends to, reduce my ownership if I'm not in that functional role. But in reality, we all have an internal customer as much as we have an external customer, right? Well, understanding their requirements helps us develop, again, the solutions, whether it be in my task, in my process, or with the technology I'm using to deliver upon those requirements that are quality in the eyes of the customer. And as you said, in terms of talent, leveraging automation, or, we go down a scale of cognition, or up a scale of cognition, I should say. Those things that are rules-based, you can effectively automate because they're repeatable, they're predictable. Those things that might require judgment need maybe a yes/no answer. They might need a left or right answer. Or those things that require, consideration and higher cognition, are more so left to us as the thought leaders. We have the decision trees inbuilt in our experience that then we can apply. But I think that's where AI is catching up. So good application, and like we said, the leveraging of quantum computing, that the ML, as well as other inputs, and that big data processing is going to get us to the point where we're going to have models that improve over time, and maybe not catch up to us, because I think we'll stay a step ahead, but ultimately come further up that cognition tree. So some great points, and Shakran, thank you for that acronym to help everyone understand. I think we might send that out later on as well, to make sure that everyone got that okay. Oh, well, now look, I think I want to open it up to the entire panel, and this is what our audience has really come for today. You know, to understand, if I was considering adopting a technology to solve a business problem that I have, or I saw an opportunity in the market that I wanted to leverage, you know, from your experience, and maybe starting with Pankaj, you know, can you share some of those practical do's and don'ts that you would have for the business leaders with us today to make sure that they succeed when selecting, planning for, implementing, or leveraging that technology to get to their objectives? So Pankaj, could you share maybe some experience on do's and don'ts around that?
It's a very good question, Tim, you have asked for. In the do side, the industry leaders has to be very much focused on the improvement areas within the organization, and he should be able to differentiate between the internal customer and an external customers. Internal customer improvement is very much required in this time of pandemic and the upcoming years, because once the internal customer improvement happen, then external customer will not get automatically satisfied in terms of quality, in terms of delivery, and in terms of cost competitiveness also. With adopting the new technologies, it means we will be going for a proactive approach and the predictive analysis, the pre-analysis of the problems which are going to come or which can be foreseen with using the technology and can be sorted out well advanced in time. So giving enough time to get the solution for the best to please the customer and to please the internal customer also.
Pankaj, some great points in that. You know, ultimately, if we don't fulfill, you know, our internal relationships as to how we flow value through an organization, whether it be services or whether it be manufacturing for material or information flow, you know, the end customer won't get the results that we've promised them in the first place. So an amazing point, Pankaj. So that's incredible. Thank you. Now, Shankar and Uttam, your thoughts, practical do's and don'ts. How do I make a good decision?
Yeah, so can I start with this, Shankaran?
Sure, Uttam, please go ahead.
Yeah, so from my perspective, team, I think a couple of the do's for organizations to adopt these technologies and then embed this within the culture of the organization is the first and foremost criteria should be to assess the current state of the market, where you should assess the quality maturity, the process maturity within your organization, and if necessary, improve upon the traditional quality capabilities to fully leverage the benefits of quality 4.0 or industry 4.0. Those that do it will definitely differentiate themselves in performance, whereas those don't do it probably will run into the risk of being inundated with data or drawing erroneous conclusions based on the poor data veracity. Now, you will have to realize the full potential of the power of quality 4.0 and its tools and techniques. There is a serious digital divide, and I would also like to parallelly answer the question raised by Mike. There is a serious digital divide between the different departments, between the different functions, where quality 4.0 or industry 4.0 would definitely help in bridging this gap with the different plethora of the tools, technologies that can be used. And with this, which is already in place with many organizations, and many of the organizations are closely looking forward to it, be it following the front runner or closely watching there, is having a full-fledged digital transformation strategy. Quality leaders should immediately determine if this strategy exists within the organization and then interpret the company's approach using the information in the handbook available, be it any quality 4.0 handbook or any other organizational handbook. The next step would be to align the quality objectives around those strategies and then develop, communicate, and gain support for supporting those initiatives. Structure these quality initiatives or business excellence initiatives to improve the traditional ones and then deploy quality 4.0. So there is a full-fledged roadmap, which we have deployed with many of our clients. And then that has sought a lot of benefits for these clients in terms of the multi-million-dollar benefits, or maybe some of the workforce benefits where they have been redeployed with more businesses where they were looking forward to, with some additional businesses that came in the way. Adding to that, I would like to cite one of the use case, where not going much into the detail of the use case. See, we people as business excellence or quality professionals, we need not learn the coding or learn the development of these programs which are required to deploy these machine learning models or artificial intelligence techniques. We will have to leverage on our traditional knowledge about the quality techniques and the principles that we use, be it a failure mode effect analysis that we have done for our process or maybe a design, the root cause analysis, the corrective action, preventive action, all these things taken together where we have the expertise, we will need to build a database and teach it to the machine. Hey, you read this, interpret the data, and then gradually you become a master out of this, start sending out the signals where a non-conformance or a failure can happen likely in the process, be run down in the process. And from there, the machine starts learning this through a close supervision, or sometimes it might be a unsupervision machine learning, where machine starts to adopt this and then it starts sending signals. There is a likely failure point in the process. That is how we have helped a couple of our clients, who are very predominant in the technology area in Silicon Valley, or maybe one of the Fortune 10 healthcare insurance giant, who adopted these technologies and then got the tremendous benefits out of that by integrating the different softwares which are prevalent in the organization. As a standalone practice, as a current, as a state, this different tools were not talking to each other. They were all functioning as standalone softwares. By doing an enterprise level quality management system integration, all of these tools got integrated with each other. The digital divide got reduced, and then there was seamless data flow that was happening between the systems, which enabled the machine learning model or the AI model to predict the right non-conformances or the failures which can happen in the process. So the benefits are amazing, right? So these are the do's that you should adopt gradually, and be very careful about the don'ts also, which is you should rightly understand what should be applicable for my business. If my traditional quality practice is not that mature, we shouldn't go immediately and start adopting these technologies. First, I should be setting my house in own order. I should be improvising my processes. I should do the continuous improvement wherever I can standardize, streamline my processes, eliminate the wastes from through the value stream mapping. Then maybe probably look for a robotic process automation for the value added step, and then this high-end technologies which can make more easier processes, more world-class processes, and put human beings to more cognitive decision thinking. So have a very careful, methodical approach and align your objectives with that of the strategies that are built in place.
Wissam, a very comprehensive list of do's and don'ts. And what I took away from that just before, what you said earlier around the context and in understanding your own maturity first and foremost is very important, because building systems on top of instability is bound to fail, right? Ultimately, because what you'll do is you'll evolve, you'll mature those underlying principles or modes of operation that you have, and what you've just invested in will become irrelevant. So I think a very critical stage, stability before capability, right? And then from that, you can build on something, much greater than what you have in your manual process or in your, in your lower maturity levels. The other point about making sure that you're aligned in terms of those initiatives to your overall strategic goals, whether it be the 3, the 5-year, or even your annual operating plans. You know, ensuring that that aligns and that you have clear communication, you know, clear connection, whether it be through, you know, Hoshin strategic planning or linking of your objectives through the different hierarchies of the organization, you know, all critical, I think, in terms to making sure that the efforts go into the right places, and it's going to ultimately arrive at the end point that we're trying to achieve. So well said, well done. So you've hit Mike's question on that regard, but I'd like to again invite the participants, the audience today. You know, please continue to raise any questions in the chat box. We will get to them. We have about 7-8 minutes left before we wrap up. And Shankar might ask his question of his own. I think he wants to build on something.
Sure.
Over to you.
Thank you, Tim. Just to share the experiences for our clients in terms of what is the starting path, what is the starting point, how do we go about successfully adapting and embracing new technology. I think very important is engagement. Engaging with people, engaging with everyone as an inclusive approach. What we saw with my limited experience with some of the clients is successful adaptation has been through a methodology called 7-step method called ORA Papa. I'm sure some of us may be very familiar with this methodology, very well crafted method called ORA Papa, ORAPAPA. Let me explain on this. These are the 7 steps. First O stands for opportunities. I think as an organization, whatever the domain that we are in, some of the clients have so well understood what are the opportunities where they wanted to leverage technology. So it's not technology that is available, I wanted to grab it and put it. Rather, in the context of the business that we are running, where do we see a big opportunity? And those opportunities, how will it translate into business value for our customers? So that's number one, grab the opportunities. After evaluating the opportunities, the next letter in ORA Papa stands for R. R is for risk. We have to be, while opportunity we started positively, second step itself will be negative because we need to be prepared. What are the risks associated with what we want to do in terms of adapting the technology? Where do we want to place? What are the consequences? When I think Uttam talked about robotic process automation, that's the mechanicality of the human being is going to be removed and we are going to empower a machine to do so. Then what will the human being do? So is a vision thinking from the standpoint that if I'm going to remove the mundane set of tasks from an individual, how do I use that individual thereafter? And if that vision is put first, okay, this is the way we want to use this role thereafter, and then invest in robotic process automation, we will get a lot more engagement from people. Otherwise, practically, you will see a combination where if you're going to bring in technology, what will happen to me? Are we going to be redundant? Are we going to become obsolete? What's going to happen? So are we prepared post-technology intervention? What is that we are going to do? How do we still be relevant? Or what is the upskilling that we need to do? So understand the risk very carefully. Evaluate the risk. That's the second letter. The third letter is A. A stands for alternatives. We need to spend a lot of time evaluating right alternatives so that we can pick the right solution. It's not about just our competition using it, so try to pick it up. Will this alternative go very well aligning to our organizational culture? Will it be applicable in different situations? So evaluating alternatives becomes very, very important before jumping into conclusions. There could be a lot of excitement looking at the technology, but look at the alternatives and then take the call. And the fourth letter is P, which is nothing but past experience. Every organization has their own past experiences, which is a combination of success and failures. Relook those failures, learn from those. Have we got all those learnings from those failures? Because we don't want to do one more and again fail, then hope is lost. So let's look at those past failures. Then look at the past success. There have been combination of both positive and negative outcomes. Learning from the past success can be repeated. So past experience cannot be ignored. The next letter A is analytics. We have to ground our decision making in terms of whether it is we want to embrace technology, we are going to minimize some of the activities. What is the data says? Sometimes I could also see in some of the organizations, interestingly, where after bringing in technology, workload has increased, not reduced, because the technology related challenges also have to be addressed. So we have to be very careful in terms of looking at the data, where is the improvement is taking place, what does the data says, and ground based on data for decision making. And the next P is people. Very, very important, because we have got to get the engagement from everybody. We cannot ignore. It has to be a very inclusive approach. And that's where the leadership team has to communicate consistently down the line. What are we trying to do? What is the vision? What is the opportunity we evaluated? What is the risk we are mitigating? How do we want to, add more value to our clients? How do we want to make our clients more successful in the eyes of their customers? Get that communication going on down the line. And last but not the least, last A is alignment. Alignment is there right from the grassroots to the top level. How are the entire adoption of technology or the proposed adoption of technology is going to align, including with the organizational DNA and culture. These are the 7-step method called Ora Papa. We have seen them very diligently applied in some of the client organizations, and they've been very successful in terms of getting the technology onboarded and also getting the talented people work around the perimeter of the technology and bring in more value to their customers. Back to you, Tim. You're on mute, Tim. Tim, you're on mute. Yeah.
Very good explained by Mr. Shankaran here.
Thank you, thank you.
It is exactly what the industry is required now.
Sure. Thank you, Pankaj.
Pankaj, I'm going to have a follow-up question for you, and I'll give you the last word. So, Shankaran, thank you for Ora Papa and that reminder of that holistic change management approach, and an understanding that we're selecting the right solution, but leveraging the human capital that we've invested in. So I always say that people are one of the only appreciating assets that any organization has. So when we release them from those non-value adding activities, or when we adopt a technology that then shifts their role, their function, we should see how those that are aligned to the organization and its objectives can come with us on that journey, can help us on that growth path. Because one of the most challenging things for those leaders is to replace good people, right? Replace those that are problem solvers, replace those that are great leaders. And leadership might be another topic that we take, this conversation as well. But I guess, Pankaj, I wanted to hear from you, so over that journey in that adoption technology, the journey that you've been on with your people to further the circular economy, to make sure, you're taking recyclate, you're using that into your process, and you're turning that around into something that's going into consumer products, automotive, whatever other industries that you're serving. But all that's important in that people journey. Would you like to speak just briefly about, the importance in people and being a good leader and bringing them on that journey is?
Can you repeat the question, Tim? I have a voice disturbance.
So having that, let's say that constancy of purpose, Pankaj, how you bring the team with you along that evolution and journey as you develop, the organization and adopt more and more technology. How important, or how have you brought people along that journey with you?
It's a very big journey. We have come all the way, because as Shankaran just explained, we have to align the team. We have to see the data analysis, where we need the improvement and what technology we need to bring in, because technology must not increase the workload of the employee. And we have to very much focus on to reduce the repeatability of the jobs within the organization, to get the best out of the current human assets we are having or the industry is having within themselves. So we have first figure out the repeatability of the jobs. We align them, we make them understand. People has to understand. So it took a lot of time to make them understand, because the things what they are doing manually day by day on daily basis will be done with the automation process. Maybe it will be the decision making by the softwares or the technology. same thing will be happening at all the levels, from ground level to the top management level. So everyone tries to understand, and the alignment has been done very carefully, and we have mitigated the risks what all are going to come, because in industry, every industry has their own confidentiality, which they are not going to relieve to anyone. So we have taken care of the confidentiality, secrecy of the organization, along with the alignment and the confidence of the human assets we are having, to make them work with the technology. And now they are very happy with this, to go with the technology, as they are contributing their time in improving other things, and we are getting best of them now.
Amazing, Pankaj. And of course, you want those promoters of what you're doing, those that are engaged and become active problem solvers and can look out for those new opportunities for you, and not the resistors, those that you haven't aligned, haven't engaged, and therefore they are pushing back. I think that's a fantastic note to finish on. And what I'll do now, I just want to thank our panelists and our attendees both today for their time, for their insights, and for their amazing contribution to the discussion today. Now, I feel that we're going to have some follow-up communications following this. We'll have a blog definitely on the topics that we covered today. This recording will become available as well. And, you know, I think we'll embed and follow up with a few emails for all those that are interested to know more about what we discussed. So the first thing I'd like to do is thank you all for your time, Pankaj, Uttam, Shankaran, for those that posed their questions, and our attendees. Now, I just finally here, I'll just ask to where to next, right? So ultimately, we'd like you to contact us. So if you're looking to answer the hard questions within your organization around sustainable growth, reach out to myself, contact EastWest Advisers around our Adapting to Succeed program. If you want to learn more about world-class plastics manufacturer, or the opportunities around that in the circular economy, you want to learn how the engagement of teams can be sustainable over time, you know, we're happy to talk to Dirco further and get them involved in that conversation. And of course, they're looking for great opportunities to be able to service the Australian market here. And finally, if you're interested about leveraging that technology around quality or business excellence or achieving your strategic objectives, you know, we'll be sending up those follow-up details regarding upcoming training from KPMG, or of course, we have the details here below. But once again, thank you all for attending today and giving, you know, our panelists again for giving their precious time around how embracing technology can help your organization to succeed. I'm Tim Odokeychuk. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining this webinar. Thank you very much. Have a great day.